today I'm going to be doing an in-depth review of this bag over here, which is the Coach Quilted Madison, also known as the Coach Madison with quilts. In this review, I'll be going through details of the bag, the measurements, I'll give you some close-ups, its pros and cons, as well as some modeling shots. So first up, the details of this bag. This is what the front of the bag looks like. It's got a flap, it's got these puffy quilts, and it is made of beautiful Napa leather. The color that I have here is chalk, and it's got aged gold hardware. This is what the side looks like. And the back, it has a very generous back pocket which spans the entire length of the bag. And here's what the other side looks like. It's got the hang tag over here. Underneath there are no feet, and on top there are these 4 grommets where this beautiful woven chain runs through. Here are some close-ups of the woven chain. I think it is absolutely beautiful. And on the grommets there's Coach engraved on all 4 of them. Very, very beautiful detail. The stitching is very beautiful as well, and I absolutely love these puffy quilts. It features the Coach turn lock over here with the letter C. On the inside, I'll pull out the straps. So on the inside there is one main compartment. On the back there is a slip pocket, and on the front of it there is a zippered compartment. Inside is like a, I think it's microfiber, but it could be suede. I'm not really sure because I bought this bag pre-loved, and if you're interested in watching the unboxing, I will link it in the description box below. Okay, carrying on, the Coach story patch is back there, and then there is another flap over here which is magnetized. That's really nice. Underneath the second flap over here, let me see if I can maneuver it. There we go, I'll turn it upside down for you. There are another 2 slip pockets. In terms of the measurements, it measures 24 centimeters in length, 19 centimeters in height, and 9.5 centimeters in depth at its widest point. The strap tops, I actually haven't got those measurements at the moment, so I will leave it on screen for you right now. And I'll also weigh the bag and leave that details on screen. So in terms of the pros and cons, now there are so many pros, but as I've indicated on the thumbnail of this video, this bag hasn't worked out for me. It's just got enough cons for me to not want it anymore. In any case, let's go through all of them. So the first pro, firstly, I think this is such a beautiful bag. It is such a beautiful bag. It does come in several colorways, but my soft spot is white bags with gold hardware. And with white bags, of course, you gotta be really careful because any dirt or color transfer or any scratches are going to show up much more obvious. And buying this bag pre-loved was the perfect opportunity for me to scratch that itch of owning a white bag. So I did buy it pre-loved, so the price was not too bad. And in the unboxing video, I also talked about how I bought this bag because I was craving for a puffy bag. Like, I was in love with the Chanel 19, but with its crazy price point, I had to let that dream go, and I bought this instead. My hopes were so high for it, given that it was a flat bag with a turn lock with, you know, straps that has chain interwoven with leather, as well as a back pocket. I had such high hopes for this bag. The other huge pro about this bag is this absolutely stunning, beautiful leather. So when I first unboxed this bag, there was some damage to this bag from the chain straps. Now, there were new damage that occurred in transit, so when I looked at the photos from the seller, the dents in this bag was not there. And I could tell when I opened the bag that these chain straps were not wrapped and they were just sitting against the back of the bag. Yeah, it was the back of the bag. So I did raise a case with Vestiaire Collective because it was their issue with packaging. I've always thought that Vestiaire can do a little bit better with their packaging. So I did raise a case with them, and 48 hours after the unboxing, I did come back to the bag to take some extra photos as per request of Vestiaire Collective. And lo and behold, the dents had actually puffed back out. So I couldn't find the dents anymore. So I think that's a testament to the amazing quality of this leather. It's soft, but at the same time, it will puff back out as well. So I ended up just closing that case with Vestiaire Collective. Now, the other thing that I really love about this bag specifically is the vertical quilts. With the Coach Pillow Madison that's out, there's these sort of diamond shape or kite shape quilts, but I really like these vertical quilts because it really reminds me of vintage Chanel. Moving on to talk about another con of this bag. Now, because the leather is quite soft, there is this crease that formed from the flap opening, and I'll show you. So if I open there, that's where all the creases form. And over time, you do get a shadow of the crease over there. Just something to be aware of. To me, it's not a really big deal, but I thought I would just point it out in case that's something that would bother you. I understand that Fendi Napa leather on the baguette bags, Cindy from Cindy's Favorite Things, she talks about how with the Napa leather on her Fendi baguettes, these creases don't happen at all, and she had owned her bag for a year at the time. So yeah, I was really impressed with that. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name is Dani, and I love to talk about handbags. I like doing unboxings, I like doing handbag reviews. So if you're getting value out of this content, please like this video because it will really help out my channel. Subscribe as well and turn on notifications because I would absolutely love to have you back. Getting back to the bag, so the other thing that I absolutely love about this bag is the organization. Oh, I love all the different compartments and the little spots where I can sneak things into. For example, I like keeping my hand sanitizer in the front pocket over here because then it keeps it separate from all my other stuff. And say like, you know, my key fob or my lip balm, I like being able to store them separately. And essentially all the compartments mean that when I pull something out, not everything is flying out of the bag. And I also really like this back pocket, which is extremely generous. So this is my iPhone 13 mini with a medium size phone case. So for comparison, that's what it looks like. And it'll fit in horizontally as well as vertically like this. As a busy mom, I usually do just leave my phone vertically sticking out because, you know, it's really easy to grab my phone then. One thing I will point out about this bag, so when I was using this bag, I had a smoother phone cover on my phone. And this is the bane of my life because, you know, I am a busy mom. Narrow car park spaces are the bane of my life because, you know, there was one time I was at a shopping mall with my daughter with really small car spaces, and I was attempting to help her get into the car. So the car door could only open like yay wide, like a foot or something like that. And I was carrying this handbag, her bag, and I was trying to help her climb into the car. And in order to fit into that car opening, I had to essentially flip this bag upside down, sort of over my shoulder, along with all of my other things. And as I did that, my phone actually slipped out and landed on the ground. So I just want to point that out. You know, it's okay now because this is a different phone cover that offers a little bit more friction. That phone cover that I was using was a very thin silicone one and was a little bit slippery. So yeah, so this one, I guess it can still fall out, but it's not as slippery as the other one that I was using. So something just to be aware of. So the next thing is that this bag is very structured. Now with structured bags, there are pros and cons. So I find structured bags always look really elegant and really elevated, but at the same time, it does limit the capacity of the bag because it's very stiff. And also because this bag is structured as well, if you bump its edges against things, it's not as compliant, so it's not gonna squish down if it bumps against a surface compared to a slouchy soft bag. So it is going to be more prone to wear and tear, especially corner wear and also just surface friction. And let me just show you the wear and tear on this bag. So if I bring it really close, there are some little superficial scratches on the flap of the bag. And on the back, there's also some friction along the edge of the pocket, right there. In terms of corner wear, this bag hasn't done too badly at all, just a little bit of corner wear on this one side. The other thing that's really beautiful is these chain straps. I think they are just so stunning. And the other really great thing about having 4 grommets is that you can change it from a short shoulder bag to a long shoulder bag in no time, just like so. The strap drop for me, I will say, is a little bit longer than I like, and what I have done before is I've gone ahead and just grabbed the ribbon and tied a knot here in order for it to suit my height. The con about these chains though, as beautiful as they are, they're not that wide, so I find them quite thin and quite uncomfortable to wear. I'm going to put on screen a comparison between this as well as my Chanel Classic flap, and you can see that yeah, it's not that thick. So I found these chains really quite uncomfortable to wear, whether I doubled them up and wore it as a short shoulder bag or whether I lengthened it and crossbodied it. As you can see in this picture over here, I did buy this bag when it was cold in Australia and I was actually wearing a puffy jacket. But it was okay for maybe the first hour, but I started to feel it against my collarbone yeah, after that hour. So it made me really worried that it was going to be uncomfortable if I wore it in the warmer months. So what I did to truly test the bag was that I used it as a work bag. And yeah, that's when I can really check whether a bag is going to be functional or not. And although I loved the organization, after wearing it for 2 weeks straight for work, the discomfort was real for me. Some people are not particularly sensitive to similar chains. For example, I've watched other YouTubers say that the chain on the Coach Quilted Madison is not that uncomfortable, or somehow they manage it. Of course, there are workarounds. You can go on Etsy or eBay or Anya's luxury collection where you can buy pads for these chains so that they're not as uncomfortable. But I've kind of moved on from this bag, and I've decided that I don't really want to spend more money on it. I think other than the fact that these chains were very thin, the other thing that added to the discomfort of this bag was how structured it was. So if a bag is really compliant, it will, I guess, mold itself to your body a little bit, and essentially the pressure from the weight of the bag will be distributed over a larger surface area. Sorry, I'm a nerd. What was the formula? Pressure equals mass over surface area, something like that. But because this bag is so structured, it sticks out on your body, and therefore most of the pressure is applied through the chains on your body. For me, on my collarbone, whether it be as a short shoulder bag or a crossbody bag. The other con, if you really like this bag at the moment, it is not a current bag. So if you wanted it, you'd have to look on the pre-loved market. And if I spot any, I'm going to link them in the description box below. Now, in terms of whether I would recommend this bag at all, I think if you are someone who is not particularly sensitive to the weight of your bags, yes, I think this bag is very functional. She's very beautiful, and she comes at a relatively reasonable price on the pre-loved market. If you're still really hard up for this bag, but you are sensitive to chains, you can go ahead and purchase the chain pads in order to make these chain straps more comfortable. So I will eventually let this bag go. But before I do that, I'm going to do some bag comparisons. So I'm planning to do some comparisons between maybe this and my Chanel Classic Flap, as well as the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag, and maybe my Coach Cassie as well. So now I'm going to overlay some mud shots. To find out what fits in the Coach Quilted Madison, I've already dedicated a whole video to this. Go ahead and click on the thumbnail on screen.